welcome back for my May TBR list. So this one I am so excited about. So last time I was so worried because I'm getting to like the end of our witchy collection of books, and through the means of advanced searching, the library actually does have a lot of witchy books. Not all of them, and honestly, like a decent portion of the ones that I look up aren't there, but there are a number of them. So for the past month, I have been double reading all of April to have some books to talk about this month. For that reason, because I don't know which ones I'm going to be reading and what ones are going to be available, like I can't plan ahead as much. So that said, I did find some. I had very little of a judgment. I was just surprised to find them because every time I've searched, I never get any results. You have to go into like the advanced searches and like publishing house only to pull things, and like it doesn't just pull easily. Their search engine for our local library is not fantastic. It's very limited. And honestly, living in Utah, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make it more difficult to find this content. It's Utah. So like, it is a struggle, and honestly, searching certain words pulls different results. Like, I have actively looked up specific titles, specific authors, pulls nothing. Look it up a different way, like through publishing house, that author, that book I was looking for is there. The logic. So I didn't really have like a guideline of what books I was renting. I was just like, oh my god, I found some. So I just rented down the row. So a lot of these are just kind of random because I was just like, oh my god, there's books. And there's actually a lot of frequent, like newer books, and there are still some older titles, though not as many as you would anticipate. Again, it's a really random mix of books. But that said, I have some books that we're going to talk about this month. I don't have the physical copies, at least half of them or more. I have returned to the library. Again, I tried to get ahead because I didn't know what I was going to be reading, and they do have a limit on how many you can take out in a month, and I read a lot of books. So we're just going to talk about them. I don't have the physical books this time. So our first book is Wicca Essential Oils by Lisa Chamberlain. This is one of the smaller books, and honestly, Lisa Chamberlain is one of those authors that I was really hesitant to go to because she's like the top result every time on Amazon. I've heard she's a ghostwriter. I don't know, but I was like, you know what? I'll have to pay for this. See if it's any good. Then we have Witches, Heretics, and Warrior Women. I don't actually have the author's name anymore. I'm going off of my calendar of books, so I probably will have put up a picture of it anyways at this point. This book, I was like, it popped up, cool, placehold please, and then I picked it up, and then I read it. So we'll talk about that one soon. But again, a lot of these I didn't actually like plan on. I went down the list and just checked out. Then we have Runes, the God's Magical Alphabet. And this one was by, what was it, like Bianca Luna or something like that? This book, again, I borrowed strictly from the title. I was surprised to find a rune book. Again, having books from the library in Utah feels weird because like they used to not. There was two. That was it when I very first started. And maybe I didn't do the advanced search enough. I don't know. Because again, they don't want this easily accessible is my best guess. Because like it doesn't pull. But found a book on runes. There are a number of ones I would like to get on Norse things, but they do not pull. So I don't know if I can find them. I might just end up having to buy those. Then we have The Essential Book of Wicca. This was a smaller book. Just one of those little itty bitty ones. And yeah, again, a lot of these. I typed in Llewellyn or I typed in Wicca and then I just found some. So there's a lot of Wicca titles because that's the popular one, to be honest. That's what the library is going to carry. Then we have The Everyday Witch's Coven. This is one that I was planning on purchasing at some point anyways, but it was nice to read through the library's copy. I still plan to go buy this eventually. I love Deborah Blake's work. She's a fantastic author. And we'll get to the ones that I don't know at some point. But that one we'll be talking about on likely the 14th of May. It feels so weird to make this when I've read half the list, to be honest, just so you know. It's a weird feeling. Then we have Wicca Nature Magic. This is another one by Lisa Chamberlain. And again, her books are really small. Like they're not big, but she's a good writer. So this was another one that I was excited about. I didn't want to do too many of her books at once. I think these were the only 2 that I did this month, but yeah, that was an interesting one. That was the one my husband was excited to see my like thoughts and notes on. Now we are on to the ones that I have not read yet, because I did fall behind because I've been working on getting my book done, so I kind of fell behind on getting ahead on my reading. So then we have Llewellyn's 2023 Sabbath Almanac. I have wanted to get these, but it's always one of those where you're like, God, do I want to get it? I don't know. So they had it at the library. I'm stoked. If there's enough content that I would want to buy it, I might. But on the other hand, it's so nice to have a library with witchy books. I genuinely am like still surprised they have these. So I did bump up one from last month, which is The Idiot's Guide to Paganism, because it's May now. So we talked about that one last time. This one of our collection, I just didn't get to it last month. Then we have An Illuminated Guide to Wicca. This one I am very curious about because it says that it's, oh, the tagline, it's one that I'm like currently reading, is like a visual guide to Wicca or something like that. But it's an interesting book. I'm excited to get to the end of it and see my full thoughts. But yeah, that's another one that I also don't remember the author's name. I think it was like Helena or Helen or something along those lines. Then we have a book on rites of passage. I'm very curious, as I'm currently writing a book on death, to be like, what do you have on that topic in particular? Also, as a witch who's gotten married, what are you gonna have there? For like having children, and like if we ever had a son, like what is going to be your rite of passage for a boy compared to a girl? Because again, women, we're gonna have a period. And so like that's kind of your mark of like initiation into the next phase of life. Boys are not as like definite movement of like one to the other. It's a much more gradual process. So like where's your point that you check that mark and you're like, yep, you're moved on. Like I'm curious how that book's gonna cover it, if they do at all. I'm curious. I don't know. We shall see. It was also an older book, I believe. I think it was from the 90s. Because again, I was surprised where the publication dates were coming from. Some of them were like 2020, 2023. And then we also had like, I think it was like 1998, I want to say. So like a little bit older. Then we have Llewellyn's 2022, which is Companion. And while it is from last year, I do think the information is still going to be relevant today. Because the Witch's Companion that I got for this year, it just has a lot of information that's just like a collection of essays and stuff, so I don't think it's like bad to read the old versions. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. The next one is The Craft. I think that one was by Dorothy Morrison. It's a gorgeous cover. I'm curious because I've loved her other books, so I think I'll like this one. We'll find out. And so yeah, those are all of the books that I am planning to read this month. I would love to hear which ones you are most excited about. If you've read any of these, which was your favorite and why. Of course, make sure to follow along and subscribe and all that stuff to see these reviews. They will be coming throughout the month. Huge thank you to my patrons. I'll have their names here on the screen. If you'd like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like and subscribe. I post every single day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching and blessed be.